I hate the holidays. There's something that I find morbidly interesting about the fact that suicide and depression tends to rise during this time of year. And as someone who is depressed the whole year round, I guess I can sort of understand where it comes from. For some people, it's the fact that they don't have anyone to spend the holidays with. And it's that sort of thing that makes me feel really guilty that I don't like the holidays, because I do have a family. There's something that I've sort of always believed in, that being that if you're actually lonely, you tend to feel that way when other people are around as well. The sort of gut-wrenching loneliness that really hits you when you aren't actually alone. When you can look around the room and see people, only to realize that you don't really feel like you're there. Or like maybe you're not supposed to be there. I've sort of been doubting myself as a friend for the past few days. And it's weird because I wasn't really able to know why until one of my friends actually said that they had to get tested for corona, and another friend mentioned that they weren't feeling well, and yet another friend mentioned that a family member was in the hospital. And as this sort of spiral of bad news for the people around me kept coming, I started to realize more and more why I've been feeling like a terrible friend. And it's not just for the past few weeks. It's not even something that's just limited to friendship. I think it's as a son, as a family member, a brother, a cousin. I feel like I don't belong. Really, I feel like I bring the people around me down with me. Like, it's like my depression has caused gravity to become so much stronger around me that people who come near me get pressed down as well. And that's because I'm there. I'm at the epicenter of it. It's not that I don't like my friends anymore or anything like that. In fact, I'm a little afraid that someone might actually hear this and think it has something to do with them, which isn't the case at all, which is sort of ironic in a way, because I do very much like these people, but whenever someone tells me that they have problems as well, all that I can think about is, how is this going to affect me? I want to be able to want the best for my friends, and the realization that isn't something that ever crosses my mind is horrible. I'd really like to say that it makes me feel really bad, but as I've sort of been trying to explain, that feeling isn't really there, and that's why I think I'm a bad friend. It's because those feelings aren't there, and it's weird because I feel like I should say I want to be sad about sad things happening, and I do want the best for my friends, things like that, and that's sort of the thing. It's not like I want bad things to happen either. It's I just don't want at all. I don't think about these things ever, and the one thing that I do think about is how sorry I feel for myself all the time. And it's not like I can't explain these things. It's my depression. It's always been that. It's been the fact that I felt like I don't belong for so many years, that I need to have so much focus on myself just to survive, really. And that's the really fucked up part about it, is when someone tells me that they're not doing okay, I know exactly how to feel, but the feeling isn't there because I've taught myself to not feel. When someone tells me that their loved ones are in the hospital or whatever, it's I know all the things to say. I know the right questions to ask. I perfectly know how to behave like I care. But some part of me just doesn't. And if one of my friends does listen to this, I know a few of them are subscribed to me. That is, if I even upload this, because usual it's the middle of the night, I can't sleep, and I have all these thoughts racing through my head. So I just start recording. But let's say I do upload this and they listen to it. I am sorry about all of it. Truth is, I don't even have the courage to tell these people how I feel about these things. It's because I can't imagine it not hurting them, and like I said, that's not what I want. But I've sort of been thinking that maybe I might never be capable of feeling those things. Like, what if I've been depressed for too long? What if I've been trying to not feel any of these things, or for that matter, I just never really learned how to care for my friends, because every time I cared for someone, it backfired against me. So I just stopped caring to protect myself, and what if it's too late to reverse that? I try genuinely not to think about how old I am, and sometimes that leads to me forgetting how old I am. But the fact of the matter is that even if I live to be 100, I've lived more than a quarter of my life already. And when I look at where I am, not just career-wise or anything like that, it's that I still feel like I'm this 12-year-old kid which goes to some kind of high school where everyone just hates me and talks about me behind my back. I recently noticed in myself that I just don't like people talking about me at all. Not even if it's good things. And someone told me that they had said something about me to their partner, and it wasn't anything negative at all, but I still felt upset about it, and I'm really glad that I didn't actually say that to that person. But I am starting to wonder that why, or more actually, I guess, how am I supposed to take responsibility for any of this? Like, subconsciously, I tried not to feel, I tried to repress certain things, but at what point does my responsibility in that stop? At what point do the people who make me feel these horrible things to the point where I genuinely looked up painless ways to kill myself when I was, I don't know, maybe 12 or 13 years old? At what point does it become their responsibility? Because they did the damage, but I'm here left to fix it. And I'm pretty sure that most of them don't think about me ever again. And if they do, it's probably not in the best way. It's certainly not in a way that makes them feel sorry for me for what they did or whatever. And that's the messed up part, is that I don't want people to feel sorry for me, but part of me also knows just that I can't fix this all by myself, and I'm in therapy. I've been in therapy for several years. I've had more than 5 therapists in my life, and the fact that I'm still here after all that time only to feel this way is it's messed up. And it makes me scared of the future, because what if I never learn how to feel these things again? And the weird part is, like, I don't want to feel things again. I want to feel things again, but that sort of desire is, in a cruel sense of irony, a feeling that I don't have. Which is really weird, because the feelings that I do have are, they're shit feelings, honestly, but the very few that I have are there, and they don't do me any favors. If it sounds like I'm suicidal, I don't think that that's it. I'm not saying it's not it, because I have dealt with suicidal thoughts before, but this just feels different. It feels like I'm having some messed up version of survivor's guilt. And it's not that I see these people who should have died in my stead or something like that. It's that I see this world of people who are, by whatever means, living, and I just don't feel like I'm doing that. It feels like I'm a ghost, or fitting with the time of year, I suppose. It's like I'm that guy from It's a Beautiful Life, and I'm from the outside looking in on a world, only I don't get to see the world without me, I get to see the world with me. But it's not like I'm actually there, I just see the impact that I have. And like I said, when I feel that the gravity around me is much stronger, that impact hits hard, and it's not a good look.